So I bought the property of 11 acres to build a shipping container house. I cut through the woods, cut down some trees, and built a half-a-mile road all by myself. I was proud and arrogantly called my YouTube channel Self-Reliance because, look, the country road has turned out to be pretty good. Then, as I worked to design the house, stack the containers, solve the truss issue, and paint my subfloor with mist tint paint in my last video, I gradually came to understand I'm far from being self-reliant. Case in point is my roofing experience in this video. So this is a quick story about how a local big-time roofer reduced his roofing quote for me 3 different times without me asking for it. This video has no surprises because the roofing job went beautifully and smoothly, so it will be a pleasing video, but I do have a lesson to share, so stick with me for a minute. After my containers were stacked, floor installed, truss fiasco resolved, it is now time to put the trusses on and put a roof on top. I've always been told to get 3 quotes for every job, and I think that's good advice for everyone. Case in point is the roofing job for my build. I got 4 different quotes. The difference between the lowest quote and the highest quote in the end was more than double. The roofing company that gave me the highest quote probably was not really after the job, but wanted to throw something on the wall to see if it would stick. The best quote was from a highly recommended roofer, a man they call Jimbo. When he drove up and saw the container house, he said, without hesitation, "Holy cow, I want this job." He gave me a very reasonable quote, and I told him I was still waiting for another quote. He said, "I want this job. It'll look great on my Facebook account." The next day, he asked if I made up my mind, and I said I was waiting for one last quote, so he lowered his quote once. In the evening, he texted me with yet another quote, even lower. I told him I appreciated his offer, but I still had not received the last quote. The next day, he texted me again, lowering the quote further, saying, "I barely make any money on the job, but I want this job." I was so overwhelmed by his quote and his eagerness, I accepted his offer. In my effort to help Jimbo out, when the sky track they tried to use to lift the trusses didn't work out, they had to rent a crane. Without hesitation, I told him I'd pay for the crane. I also made sure every day I'd have donuts ready for the man in the morning and then pizza for lunch. I'd also have plenty of bottled water on site as well. I wanted to keep the crew happy. The crew moved right along, making sure the trusses were accurately and equally spaced at 16 inches on center. They completed the truss work in 1 day. Then the roofing crew came. It was downright hot for spring, but they did their job quickly, efficiently. First put on the OSBs, then the sublayer, and then the metal roof. My artistic friend Tim was on site for a couple of days, and he shot some really good videos of the man in action. I will be quiet so you can enjoy some of his videos.
Yeah, get your head out of the way. Oh, good. You good? No, me. You? Yeah. Daddy, lift that board. Come on. Good? Come on. Take it out. Back to you.
I've always prided myself on being self-reliant and independent, but the truth is, I'm far from being self-reliant. I depend on neighbors, friends, good professionals, and kind tradesmen all the time. I cannot count the times when I ask my neighbors Alex and Paul to help me, get my tractor unstuck, move something heavy, and give me advice. One neighbor, Anthony, came to my woods one day when I was building my tiny house with a plate of food, and I was downright hungry at the time. Neighbor Dennis gave me right away to pull electrical and gas lines from his property without any hesitation. Otherwise, I'd have to pay through my nose to pull them from another direction along my half-mile driveway, which is 10 times more expensive. The truth is, none of us are truly self-reliant, not nearly as much as we think we are. Furthermore, as I work with the professionals from all the trades, I'm gaining great respect for them. They remind me of the American soldiers in the Battle of the Bulge, who wouldn't give up even though they were surrounded and outnumbered. They literally soldiered on, reorganized themselves even when their officers were killed. I'm proud to know these men, work alongside them, and be friends with them. So I'm not building a shipping container house. I'm building a cathedral to the men and women who embody the American spirit of relying on themselves instead of waiting for a handout, the American spirit of hard work, of running a business by themselves, and of helping each other. This has become a religious experience. So the cathedral work continues, and next up is to frame the house. Stay tuned.